perfect production of meat. He has a cattle farm, and he does fantastic wonders with these cows and calves. And even better so, I must say, I have never ever tasted a meat so unbelievable like this. It's going to be very rare, the way I've prepared this dish. If anyone wants to have it well done, please let me know. But I have on purpose done it very rare. And because I want you to really enjoy the fantastic aromas of this meat. I asked us if you could say a few words, 5 minutes, so you understand how amazing this process of to get this meat to the stage where all these flavors come. So I give you, yeah. And she came in today with her husband from Italy. The first thing they told me was they had a little bit warmer climate there than here. And I believe you. So, but you know, it's unusual mild here for being this time of the year, for sure.
Excuse me, first of all, for my English, and if I have my paper, because some words I didn't know in English, so I not to say something strange. So, what is really unique is that all these animals are just Piedmont bovine breed fed with nuts. It's not that they just eat nuts. In fact, they eat corn, bran, hay, and nuts. The person who had this project has been working for 20 years, studying day and night all the bovine breeds and all the results that way of breeding the animals had on the meat, and then analyzing the meat, all the properties that could be transmitted to human being. So he had made many steps in trying different elements to put inside the breeding to avoid using any type of chemical industry element to grow easier, to grow faster the animals. So he follows the physiological time of growth of the animals. Normally a calf can grow up about 1 kilo to 1.5 kilos per day. These animals just 2, maximum 3 hectograms per day. This means that they arrive at a certain point and they stop their growing, and so everything is natural. There is not an addition of what becomes water, and then when you will kill, sorry for the term, but I don't know how to say it, the animal, and what you normally can see in not so good meat is that when you cook, it can become smaller and smaller. It can't happen because it hasn't been grown in a normal, in a strange way. What is important is not only the taste, because the taste is particular because the oil of the nut really passes through the animal meat, and you will see it. I mean, when you open a raw packet of meat, normally you will have the water, a little water. Here you have the oil that comes through, and if you touch it before cooking, you will feel the oil on your toes, because the oil of the nut passes through, and it's not necessary to put the oil on before eating. We normally you cook the albese, which is raw, very thin meat. We put oil, lemon, and salt. Here it's forbidden because you already have the oil of the nut, and the lemon is forbidden. And if you really want, you can put a little bit of salt, but anything else. And what is special, and this is the reason why the minister in Italy, after 10 years that he was trying to be approved by the minister about that project, he had all the approvals last year, is that each 30, maximum 40 days, this meat is examined. all the results of the exams are on the website and in the shop of the butchery. There's a unique butchery in Italy that is allowed by the minister to sell it. And it is shown that it has a tax of cholesterol really very, very low, even lower than the fish, but special fish, because they usually make the... Sorry, okay. So, for example, the cholesterol is has an average of maximum 40 grams per 100, while normally the bovine breed can be 60, 70, even more. And in some exams, we say that it's 40 because in some exams we also had 20, many times. But we really want to keep the higher average we had, because as everything is natural, you can also have an animal that eats more or less nuts, and you can't oblige him. We just follow his taste. So, thanks to the simple and genuine feeding and to the novel properties of the nuts, it has no fat substance at all. So the fat substance is just outside. It's very hard. On the contrary of the other fat, which is in the side, in the middle, which is soft and which lets the meat be soft. This meat is much more soft and tastefully is sweet than the others, without fat substance inside. Just outside, and you can't eat it. The fat which is outside, you have to throw it down, off. You can't eat it. And so there will be many, many things interesting to say. For example, the nuts. For the minister, we put it in the documents, must be entire, so not the nuts used by the to make sweets, for example, to make chocolate. No, just entire, and just a huge of 13 to 15 millimeters, because they are the only ones who can keep all the properties of the nut and can pass to the animals. Or, for example, if an animal fall ill, we cannot give him medicines, so we give, and it cannot be sold as a Vicciola. The name is Vicciola because in Italy, calf we say vitello, nut we say nocciola. Vicciola is vitello fed with nocciola. This is the reason why. And up to now, he is the only one in Italy allowed until last week. Since now, he can start selling to other butcheries, but since really 3-4 days or more, and he's starting to have it in some great restaurants in Italy and abroad. But it will never become an industrial product, or you will never find it everywhere, because it's a private person who does it. And he has a certain number of animals. He will have more, but he doesn't sleep. He sleeps 3-4 hours per day, because he follows everything since the birth until the animal is sold out. He wants to follow, and he controls the nuts. He controls everything. The nuts, for example, are pressed and cut a half of an hour before being given to the calf, not twice a day. And every day. So there's a longer process. There are many, many things. I don't want to take too much time. But what is important is the cholesterol is the most important. Another very, very important thing is that the monounsaturated fat, which are the good one, and normally in the meat they are lower than the polyunsaturated, which are bad. Here they are higher than the polyunsaturated. So this is like the fish, which has omega-3, and for the red meat, it was practically impossible. And he has joined after 20 years. He has joined that result. So I hope you will also like it. But what's important, not just to taste if you like, but to know which has some properties unique.
Thank you.